Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tvayo Shritva Pranamami Muhur Muhur Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Sthapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avataro Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. So good evening. So let's first start with a guided meditation, and let's just first again go back to our breath. And the way we go back to our breath, we'll breathe in through our nose, hold it for hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, then breathe out 4 as well. And we'll continue that 5 times. So let's start. Breathe in, hold it, and breathe out. Again. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Feel the calmness coming and continue the breathing in, holding and breathing out. And when we're breathing in, we can think that we're breathing in all positivity, all goodness, all spirituality. And when we're breathing out, we're breathing all the toxicity that we've experienced through the day, all the negative thoughts, negative thinking, frustrations, laziness, all the tamas, all the rajas, we're all breathing it all out, and we're breathing in sattva. Let's continue. Keep breathing in. Hold it. Notice the difference. What even just a little breathing exercise, what that does for us. Notice as we breathe in and out, how our heartbeat is slowing down. We're becoming more calm, more conscious, and more aware to this moment. Now let's go. Let's now extend our attention. Keep breathing. You don't have to hold it anymore, but keep breathing in and out. And now let's go down, start with our toes. And let's begin our gratitude practice. Our toes, which are selflessly serving us through the entire day. Without that, we can't move. So we offer our gratitude, beginning with our toes. Next, we go to our foot, the balls of our feet. Just a simple breath, simple gratitude. Thank you. We keep moving up to our ankles, calves, the shin bone, giving gratitude, feeling acknowledgement. And then our thighs and different parts of the body. Feeling that equanimity which comes with gratitude. Once we can acknowledge the power of acknowledgement to others, to our own body parts, with that equanimity comes. Now we come to the center of our chest, our heart, and our lungs. Feeling of gratitude towards our lungs, allowing us to breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. We keep going to our ears, our nose, our eyes, all parts of the body which selflessly serve us and allow us to interact with, to see this world, to touch, feel, taste. Our mind. Swami Vivekananda used to say that you may have the blessings of the gods and goddesses, gurus, and all the God in the world, but if you don't have the blessings of your own mind, that everything will come to naught. So we offer gratitude to our own mind and pray for its blessings to keep guiding us in the right path, giving us proper discrimination. Finally, we offer gratitude to our spiritual teachers, our parents, mother, father, and all the different teachers we've had in life, starting from when we came out of the womb. So many teachers we've had, and they've all given us knowledge, imparted knowledge. So we thank the teacher, and we also thank and acknowledge that knowledge that we've received. Unless we pay homage to the knowledge that we already have, we cannot acquire new knowledge. And finally, to Ramakrishna for providing us with this sacred space that we can meet and discuss and share higher ideals to help us move through this world and keep our minds on the divine. See your Ishta Devata in your heart and offer your salutations. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Paramastu. So today we're going to now start. We're starting a little bit early, and because at 8 p.m. today we have a special. I'll just you can put it here so I can see them. Oh, it's okay. Maybe since there's.
You want to see everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can.
You want that moved?
Yeah. Then maybe that screen we can see. Okay. Okay. So today we have a we have. Okay. That's okay. Today we have a special at 8 p.m. on like a. Or the screen can't be. Can the screen be moved there?
Yes, Swami.
Oh, that'll be good then. Since there's less people, we can see that. Oh. Anyways, today since we have a special class at 8 p.m. for those who are interested, Swami Harinamananda, who led the Silmar conference, he will be today leading a special discussion, which all of you are invited to attend through Zoom on senior care for the aging devotees. And it's more like a discussion that we can all participate together and share our ideas. So that will be at 8 p.m. So for that reason, I moved the class up to 7 p.m. So now what I want to start with is do a small review. And I would encourage everybody, I think that if you have the PDF that I've sent you, and in our bookstore, we do sell Raja Yoga. So if you can maybe purchase a copy of that Raja Yoga, Swami Vivekananda's Raja Yoga, because my hope is that we can go through the Yoga Sutras. I've given you a link also for chanting, and we can learn how to chant. It's very peaceful, it's very calming to chant the Yoga Sutras in the morning time. And it's not very difficult to learn. So that's one thing maybe we can all do together. Learn the Yoga Sutras and memorize them and go slowly and really try to make these teachings our own. I want to begin with, again, what we did last time, Swami Vivekananda's epigram to Raja Yoga. And last week we talked about it. I just want to review it one more time. Swamiji wrote, "Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divine within by controlling nature, external." Oh, someone has a, okay. The goal is to manifest this divine within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work or worship, or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more of all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines or dogmas or rituals or books or temples or forms are but secondary details. So,
Sorry, Swami, is were the links distributed? We have someone that wants to get the links.
oh yeah, I think
Were they distributed on email or on the WhatsApp?
I think
group?
on the WhatsApp.
WhatsApp group. So they just need to join, give the
Yeah,
number on.
and if not, I think last week it was sent by WhatsApp.
Okay.
So
thank
they
you.
can just yeah,
Sorry.
please, yeah, I'll have to.
We have a Swami.
Okay, you have it. Okay, so I just want to again review this because it's so important to our day-to-day practice. This epigram are some of Swami Vivekananda's original contributions to Indian philosophy and also to the philosophy of Raja Yoga. And so I just want to touch upon that. Each soul is potentially divine. So this is, of course, talked about in the Upanishads, but it's very powerful. Each soul is potentially divine, because or otherwise, I think somebody had one in training center, somebody who studied psychology, according to Freud, they'll say something different. They'll say each soul or each mind is potentially mad. Those who study Freud. In Semitic religions, they'll say each soul is potentially a sinner. Actually, each soul is a sinner, is trying to become divine. So Swamiji's thing here, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divine within by controlling nature, external and internal. So what does that mean? I just want to ask, and anyone can reply. What does that mean? The goal is to manifest this divine within by controlling nature, external and internal. Anyone from Zoom or here, anyone can anyone answer that? You can unmute yourself if you're able to answer that. The goal is to manifest this divine within by controlling nature, external and internal. So what does it mean, controlling nature, external and internal?
I think Swamiji is saying, don't get lost in pavitri. Go back to yourself, to your purusha, to the Atman, right? Focus on
what?
I think what he's saying in these sentences is, don't get distracted by, prakriti.
Okay.
Focus on the purusha inside of you, the Atman, the larger self. That's what I think he's trying to say here.
Okay, and what does it mean, controlling nature, external and internal? What does that mean?
So I think he's saying continue with it. Your sadhana should be focused on your deeper self, right?
Okay.
So,
okay.
so whether it's, anyway, I'll let you, my point.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else want to say something? Okay, so external can be that, and external, internal. Internal could be our internal mind, our internal thoughts, and external is our sense organs. When they see, say, ice cream or something that our mind is chasing after, to control our mind and stop it from chasing the external world, our external desires. And do this by either work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. So this is really important. Many of you have received initiation now. So this is really kind of important to understand what this means. Because all these things, what he's saying is, this spiritual life is something that has to be 24/7, and it has to become integrated within our, externally, in our meditation, when we sit for meditation, but also when we're moving in the world. Anywhere we're moving. So do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy. So what does he mean here? So philosophy means our studies. We sometimes think that the whole of spiritual life is just philosophy and studies and psychic control. But no, he's saying is by one or more or all of these, and be free. And I think one of Swami Vivekananda's unique contributions, which we spoke about last time, he said by one or more or all of these. This is called this Jnana Karma Bhakti Raja Sumuchaya. So it's a combination of all of these. So none of the other earlier philosophers, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, none of them have ever mentioned this, by a combination of all of these. That's really important for us, because we want to make progress, but we don't have an infinite. Many of us, we have to go to work. We have duties. We have to teach yoga. We have to go into the world. We have to work. We have children. And so we're busy throughout the entire day. So we only get like maybe at most 1 or 2 hours for meditation, and maybe not much time for studies. So what do? So Swami Vivekananda is giving us the solution right here. So we should try to combine each of these every day. So one of our senior monks in India, a very great soul, he used to say that our entire day should be split up. Each of these yogas should be somehow being done every single day. That's really important. So we're doing work. We go to the work office. So how can we convert that? That's karma. How can we convert that work that we're doing at the office into a yoga? That's not very easy to do. So that's why we say that before going to work, we offer the results. We go tell Ramakrishna before we go that, oh Lord, I'm offering the results of my work to you today. Please accept the results. Another way to do that is through this Sheva of the ashram, or doing some unselfish work. So that's what we say that in the ashram here, I think, Jyoti, we have Sheva Saturday this Saturday. So that's a perfect example. If any of you ever come on Sheva Saturday, you'll see that it's different when you, do some service for Thakur Ramakrishna here, as opposed to in our own home. In our own home, it's more like a duty. They say in Sanskrit, kartabhya, one ought to do this. And if you don't, you might get screamed by your partner. So it's something we have to do. But when we find that we do it, something for Ramakrishna, Thakur, like in the ashram, that same type of duty, we feel that type of expansion. Automatic expansion we'll feel afterwards. Same thing with worship, work or worship. Worship is this bhakti yoga. So bhakti yoga means, what does worship mean? Can anyone say what worship means? What do you think worship is? One type of worship is, we have here worship of, we don't do that, but worship of Ramakrishna. So we say that's one type of worship, doing ritual worship. Yeah, Rajiv, go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah, I feel is worship concentrating on the God or the Ishtadeva in any form, like whether it's thinking for him or working for him or doing like something with hands and legs, like physically ritual, anything.
Well, if you say that, then why does Swamiji said do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more? So he's making a distinction between them, right? So
Yeah.
why is it? I'm saying that you can say that, but I'm just saying let's kind of look at the text to what Swamiji says. According to what Swami Vivekananda said, he said worship is different. What you're saying at the ultimate stage is true, that work and worship should bleed together, but he's specifically saying here by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy. So what do you think he means by worship, if we just isolate worship by itself?
Swami,
Is it like bhakti? Is it like prayer? Like I guess worship also has different categories, so I'm not sure.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, let's take
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, please go ahead.
Yeah.
And then Swamiji. Yeah, Lakshmi, go ahead.
She's muted.
Lakshmi, you're muted.
Okay. I think worship could be either actually doing puja, like using flowers and like the typical puja that we do in India, like with using flowers, like incense stick and all of that, like doing arati. And I also think worship is the next level, which will be the manasik worship, which will be thinking about God internally and doing the whole ritual, but doing in mentally. So I think it could be either physical worship or mental worship.
Okay, very good, very good. Swayamji?
I think it is one-pointedness in whatever you do, 100% focus with what you are doing in the form of work or the ritual or meditation or either any of the four paths, just pure one-pointedness.
Okay, that sounds, yes. So I think Lakshmi and Swamiji, you're both right. I think it is what Lakshmi said. It's first worship on an external object, and then secondly, manasika, it could be done within the mind. That's one way to do it. And that's what they talk about in the Narada Bhakti Sutras. And what Swayamji said, worship is one-pointed focus. And that's true. But you can say that's how worship should be done, whether that's what worship is or how it should be done. the means of worship. In fact, Swamiji said the one-pointed focus is the mean not only for worship, but also for work, psychic control, philosophy. All of these we have to have this one-pointed mind. So what I would say, going back to what Lakshmi had said, that it's either something done towards our Ishtadevata, maybe an external image, or our internally. But what did Swami Vivekananda say about that? So this is where his unique contribution, that he talked about what worship was. And it's a philosophy that we practice as all members of the Ramakrishna Mott and Mission, as members of the Vedanta Society. And we've talked about it. Shiva Jnani Jiva Sheva. So, knowing myself as Shiva, as God, I do that worship of the living Shiva in others as well. This is the worship that we've been asked to follow. And that means that we have in our Ramakrishna hospitals and in Varanasi, for example, sometimes we do the puja of the patients. That patient is the living Narayan. That patient is the living God. And now I have to knowing, I cannot worship him. There's a saying in Sanskrit, Devo Bhutva Devo Yayet, which means by thinking, by becoming God, one is able to worship God. So Shiva Jnani Jiva Shiva, by realizing myself as this Lord Shiva, as a Shiva, I then worship that veritable manifestation in others. I think I mentioned last week there was this Ban Bihari Maharaj, who was this old sadhu, who he only had one duty to do in life. That was to treat the dressings, to bandage the patients that would come to Kashi. So all these different poor patients would come, and he would bandage them for their wounds. Now they called him this Jagrata Vishwanath. They called him the living Lord Vishwanath. Why? When you would go to his presence, you would really feel that you've entered into a shrine. When you see the way he's taking the bandage so carefully and putting it on the patient, you feel like someone's taking the dhoop, doing this worship, waving incense before the living God. That type of tanmatra was there. So this is why, and this Ban Bihari Maharaj, I don't think he did much anything else. He didn't know much scriptures, and he might have done some meditation, but this was his meditation. In fact, they would sometimes ask him, when will you go to the temple? What would be his answer? When did I leave the temple? So this was something really special. So this is something that we can try to cultivate when we go outside. That has to be, we have to try to go back to that every single time. Shiva Jnani Jiva Shiva. Then the last one. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines or dogmas or rituals or books or temples or forms are but secondary details. Normally, what do we see? If we go to any church, even any Hindu temple for the most part, any place we go, mainly what's being emphasized there? The doctrines, the dogmas. I went to Memorial Church, Christian, many times in Harvard. So there you see what Jesus said, the doctrines, what the book of Matthew, what they say. In fact, what we find in the world is, for the most part, people are willing to die for the doctrines and the dogmas. Even though it may be undigested, it's not been realized, but for the sake of the words, many people are willing to die. Rituals, you go to any Hindu temple, a lot of times people put their maximum energy in the rituals. How many offering flowers and repeating so many different types of mantras. This is what you call the Mimamsaka philosophy. There are 6 different darshanas or philosophy in Vedanta, and this is called Purva Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa is the ritualistic philosophy. And there the emphasis is on rituals. They say by performing the rituals properly, one will attain heaven. Yet at the same time, because of what? Because by doing that properly, you get enough good karma. What we say punyam. And by getting good karma, you go to heaven. Yet, what does the Gita say? And what did Ramakrishna emphasize? He said that as devotees, and what did Swami Vivekananda say? As devotees of Ramakrishna, as students of Vedanta, we should go beyond punyam and papam, both good and bad. In fact, this is one of the common prayers in Bengali in the Katamrita that Ramakrishna, he taught us how to pray. He said, "Oh Lord, Ami China, punyam papam, you keep those things for yourself." Holy Mother, once in Bagbajar, she went and she had a particular puja performed. Afterwards, the pujari wanted to give Holy Mother the fruits. She offered some fruits, so give it back to her. And what did Holy Mother say? You keep the fruits. We don't want the punyam or the papam. We want to go beyond. We want nirbhashana, which means desirelessness. We want only one thing, love of God. Or as in the Katamrita, it's there, it says, Manusher Uddesha Bhagavanir Labh. The purpose of human life is to realize God. That's our only purpose in life. So we neither want good karma nor bad karma. We want to finish everything actually. Good karma is good, but we want to even not get the results of that. So, or rituals, or books, or temples, or books or temples. So that's even, temples are secondary. Why do we come here? When we come here, what is our purpose? Our purpose is to get inspiration. In Bangla we say uddipon. And this bakulata. Whenever we come to the temple, if you're very observant of your own mind, I think you'll notice one of two things. The mind becomes calmer than it was. And secondly, the mind thinks more of God. So that's the purpose of the temple. Not just to come to the temple, but to think of God and meditate upon it. And that living presence become more real. Final thing is forms. So the pictures, forms, these are all but secondary details. Now let's go to, do you all have this chapter 1? Is that there? Do you, Samadhi Pada, do all of you have that? Otherwise, I'll send out the PDFs next week if you don't have it. But I want all of us to at least have Swami Vivekananda's Raja Yoga and take a look at that. This can't, can this be kind of, this can't be, right?
What are you trying to do, Swami?
Can this be projected? I have this on my computer. It's okay if it cannot, that's okay. It's okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's okay, next time we'll do. Okay, so this week I'm just going to read the first mantra, and if you have it, we can chant it together. And if you don't have the book in front of you, then I would just please request that you try to, you can email us too, and we'll send you the PDF if you don't have it. At least the parts that we're working on. Okay. Samadhi Pada 1.1. So now we're beginning. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Let's all repeat together. Atha Yoga.
Atha yoga anushasanam.
Once more. Atha Yoga
Atha yoga anushasanam.
Yes. You'll have one homework assignment. I would try to memorize this for next week. Okay? Now, Atha means now. Yoga means connection, union. And Anusasanam, it actually comes from this root shash, which means to chastise, correct. But Anushasanam means instruction, direction, teaching. So, Swami Hariharananda says, now yoga is being explained. So now we shall hear the instructions of yoga. Now this, in the Brahma Sutras, this Atha, it also indicates what you say, a commencement of a subject. So Athato Yag Brahma Jigyasa So in Vedanta Brahma Sutras, athato, that means now we shall be engaged in the inquiry of Brahman. Same thing, now we shall listen to yoga, the instructions of yoga. So atha here means commencement of a subject which is under discussion. And it particularly means in Sanskrit regarding the scriptures. So just like in Vedanta, Brahma Sutras, now we will discuss Vedanta. So here, now we will discuss yoga. Now, yoga has two meanings. Yoga means samadhi. That's why this is called samadhipada. And we'll get into this later on, but there's two different types of samadhis. Asampragyata samadhi and sampragyata samadhi. We'll get into this later on, but just so you know. And what Vyasa says is that this samadhi, this concentration, it is a feature of the mind in all its habitual states. Now, what is really interesting is Vyasa's commentary on this. He talks about 5 different types of minds. I'll just read the Sanskrit real quickly. Sampragyataha yoga. This is Vyasa's commentary. Iti akhyayate. So now it's going to be explained the different types of samadhis, the different types of concentrations of mind. Sacha vitarka anugataha, vichara anugataha, ananda anugataha, asmita anugata iti avarishtat samveda ishyamaha. Now, what Vyasa says is that there's 5 different states of mind. One is what's called Shipta. I'm going over this from Swami Hariharananda's commentary. I'd like for all of you to at least have these 2 different commentaries. One is Swami Hariharananda, and I'll send the PDFs for this tomorrow or tonight. I'll send the PDFs. And the other is Swami Vivekananda's Raja Yoga. Okay. Swami Hariharananda, he translates Vyasa, who is one of the main commentators to the Yoga Sutras. Why is that important? Because sutra means what? Can anybody tell me what sutra means? Thread. And what else does it mean? In here, what does it mean? It's something thread, yes, thread, and something abbreviated, something concise. You can see if you compare this to a shloka in the Gita or a mantra in the Upanishads, they're far longer. And the Gita has like a meter that is chanted in, I think 8 or 12, and the mantras, so they're all different. But the sutras means it's very compact. So sometimes it doesn't fully explain what it means. It just gives the overall principles. So it takes commentators like Vyasa, Vijnana Bhikshu, Raja Bhoja to further explain them. Vyasa is the main commentator. So Vyasa says that there's 5 different states of mind that our mind goes through. One is called Shipta. Shipta means what? Jyoti, do you know?
Vacillation.
Vacillation, yes. Shipta means restlessness. Now, if we wanted to define that according to the different gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tamas, which one would it be under? Restless mind. Rajas, yes. Second state, Murda. Murda means stupefied. It's when we're feeling, what do you say? How do we say stupefied? Huh? Lazy. It's like lazy and tamasic. Yeah, and the tamasic also, you have to understand with these different, there's a pendulum, even within tamas. There's a tamas on one end, it's like the tamas that is very dark. It's like the darkest state. So it's like the kind of state that doesn't mind hurting others. You find some people in life, they find joy in giving, hurting others and being in different forms. They find joy in that. So this is mura. That's one end. Another end, the other end of the pendulum, which we all go through, is we feel lazy sometimes. We've been working, we've been moving around a lot, so some days we just don't get out of bed, or we don't feel like getting out of bed, or we're just not there. Some days we just don't feel like updating the website. So many different types of things. So that happens to all of us. Now, so Shipta is restless. Mura is stupefied. Next state of mind, which we all have, is Vikshipta. Jyoti, do you know what Vikshipta means? Distracted. So distracted.
Restlessness. Yeah.
What was that?
Restlessness.
Not necessarily. No, actually, Kshipta is restless. Vikshipta is distracted, and I'll explain what the difference is between the two. In fact, I'll explain that right now. Kshipta means restless. What does restless mean? That we really can't concentrate. Our mind is so restless. We all have that. Something has happened. We wake up one day and we have to rush somewhere. We're in a restless state of mind. We can't really focus. At that time, we're forgetting things too. Oh my God, I forgot my keys. Where are my keys? Where's my cell phone? Even one person, okay, I might as well. Sarvadevananji. One time he was rushing and he's saying, "Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses?" He's asking everybody, and his glasses is right on his eyes. So we all have that, but it's easier to see within somebody else. So this is Kshipta. Vikshipta is something else. Vikshipta is an alteration. I'll explain Vikshipta, but first let's go to Ekagra. Ekagra means one-pointed. One-pointed means sometimes we come to the temple, we feel that we can easily become absorbed with the vibration of the temple, with the lecture. We sit for meditation and we look at Ramakrishna. So some days we feel more concentrated. Understand, each of these different states, there's a pendulum. Is that clear to everybody? It's not just ekagra means, at one side it means samadhi. It means absolute the dissolution of the subject object. On the other side of the pendulum, just for one moment, I'm just seeing Ramakrishna and I'm concentrated. Now, when we come to say a temple, for example, we usually alternate between ekagra and vikshipta. Vikshipta is like the type of mind that the way one of our Swamis, Acharyas, it's like it's roaming in a particular direction, say in the direction of spirituality, the subject matter of spirituality. Like a scientist will be thinking day and night about the different ideas and principles of science, astronomy, biology. So he's not necessarily concentrated on a particular point, but he's within that realm. That's something called vikshipta, means sometimes concentrated, sometimes distracted. It's not fully concentrated. It's more than restless. It's like you're dwelling within that realm of a particular subject, spiritual or non-spiritual. But it's not fully concentrated. Does that make sense? So sometimes we come to the temple, we find that we're able to sit and really enjoy and just get our mind gets elevated. Yet afterwards we go sometimes to the snacks, after our Vedantic snacks or lunch, potluck. At that time we find the mind starts to drop a little bit. Where did that go? We were one-pointed when we were listening to the lecture or sitting watching Ramakrishna, but at the same time now we've seen that we become distracted. So that's not restless. Does everybody understand the difference between Kshipta and Vikshipta? Kshipta is restless and Vikshipta is distracted, which implies concentration, which implies higher thinking, but we can't hold it. I can read something good, I can read a good scripture, and I can start to think of it more deeply. But because of my mind, I cannot hold it. How many of you have heard of Vaikuntanath Sanyal, the disciple of Ramakrishna? He was, what does he say? He's easily, that is easily distracted.
Calms, yes, shows calmness that is easily distracted.
Easily distracted, but it's actually it's not. That's what one they'll say, but this is like according to the commentators, it's something more than that because easily distracted implies kshipta, which is restless. So that might be according to the yogic Sanskrit dictionary, but there's another word in the commentary. So this is what Vyasa is explaining to us. Now, ekagra is one-pointed. The final state is niruddha. Niruddha means, what was that? Okay, I'll tell it to you. Arrested. Oh, okay, Lakshmi, I'll get to you right, Lakshmi, but do you want to say what niruddha means? Go ahead. You have to unmute yourself.
No, not Niruddha. I was thinking more about the restlessness and the difference between the restlessness and distracted.
Yeah.
So if you do you want me to share that or
Go ahead,
wait?
yeah, go ahead, sure.
Yeah, in my mind, restlessness involves like being worried about something, like you're uneasy feeling, uncomfortable. That's part of being restless. Whereas distracted is every thought that's like everything, like our sense organs are totally engaged. We are like every little thing we are focused on. In my restlessness, in my mind, is like you are not able to focus because of all the other reasons. Whereas when it comes to distraction, you really and truly are focused on every little thing and not necessarily focused on one thing. One is total lack of focus. The other one is too much focus.
That's true, and that's really interesting. But if you have too much focus, so that the mind becomes this. So you mean like the multitasking? You mean something like that? That's
Like people with attention deficit disorder. I mean, I have worked with people like them, and it's like they can't just focus on one thing. It's like every little thing. Like there'll be an ant moving, and they are looking at it, and then the next minute there is a sound, and then they are distracted by that. It's like
that's a good. That's a very good point. Yeah, that makes sense. I think Rajiv. Then I'll take you, Jyoti. Rajiv had a comment. What was his comment?
I think it was Ratan, Swami.
Ratan, you had a comment. You could just ask it, Ratan. You can unmute
No,
yourself.
I had no comment. No, it's not me. No,
Okay.
Yeah, so that was me, Rajiv, and so basically, I'm wondering like sometimes you get obsessed by certain things. It's like obsessive compulsive disorder. Like I don't know what that falls in.
We can't hear you. Okay. Okay, I think Rajiv got.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So my question was like in the chat. I'm also wondering what is obsession. Like some people get obsessed about certain things and cannot take their mind off that thing, and then there is this obsessive compulsive disorder. So I'm kind of wondering what that is.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be something. I think that would be a combination of both restless and vikshipta. So it's like Lakshmi was saying. It's like you're too focused. Your mind becomes kind of too obsessed with a point, but then it can also switch between different points. So I think it's a combination of both being distracted and restless, both together. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Does anybody want to say anything? That's a good. Does anyone else have to? Jyoti, want to say anything about that?
About that, no.
Okay, okay. Well, let's think about that, Rajiv. In fact, these 5 states I'm going to write to you, and I'm going to ask everyone to do. I'll send it you Hariharananda's commentary, and these 5 states. What you can do, you can kind of keep a journal if you like, and just see, just for yourself, just try to observe this week until next Wednesday the different states we go through in different times of the day. Okay, so that's one thing to do. And the last one is niruddha. And niruddha means
Stilling of the vessel.
arrested. That means that no yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So the ultimate goal of yoga is to separate purusha from prakriti, which means basically that no thoughts are arising in the mind. No thoughts are arising in the mind. And when we say no thoughts, that means there's no identification between the purusha and prakriti. Our ultimate goal in Yoga Sutras is to do what? Is to still the vacillation and to realize ourselves as Purusha. Prakriti is eternal, but we're no longer identified with Prakriti.
But isn't that naturally arising when the
You could use the microphone there. Oh, sorry. What was that?
Is that naturally arising, that we realize ourselves as Purusha when the vacillations are still?
Yes, Jyotiji asked that when we realize ourselves as Purusha, when all the vacillations still, not only the vacillations, any semblance of identification with this mind, body, ego complex, including the ego, once that sense of I goes away, that then the object disappears. Not the object not disappear, it gets separated. In Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, it disappears. But what happens in yoga, it does not get disappear, it gets separated. Does everybody understand that?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so now it's almost 8 o'clock. So okay, so we're almost going to complete today because for those of you who would like to join, we're going to have a show it from here too, a very special discussion about the caring of elderly people in our communities. So, but before that, let's just any other questions or any other points of discussion. How do you all feel about that? Why don't we do something like that? We can have 2 homework assignments. All of you just try to memorize just the first sutra, Atha Yoga Anushasanam, and I'll send you Hariharananda's just the first page of his commentary, and you can just see the 5 different states of the mind, and we can kind of, if we want, we can observe our mind this week as kind of like experimenters. And so, and then next week we can just kind of talk about that in the beginning of class. Okay, so we can try something like that. I think that'll be kind of interesting. Okay, before I go, any other questions or points of discussion? Because now we're going to have this, Swami Harinamananda is going to begin his Zoom meeting, which I encourage all of you to stay if you can, on how to do Sheva Yoga for the elderly people. Because that's what we were talking about also in yogas, in the Yoga Sutras, what Swami Vivekananda talked about, a work and worship. So what Swami Harinamananda is going to talk about today, how do we combine work and worship through our Sheva to the elderly people who have so many problems now, and especially being an old person in America, that structure is not there, that network is not there. In India, it's more likely to be there, but in America, we don't have that. So this is one thing we also have to think as a spiritual community. What can we do to serve God? This becomes also our spiritual practice. How can we serve God in the elderly and make them go more towards the divine? So this is what Swami Harinamananda is going to talk about, and we're going to go to there now. Before I do, any other questions?
Swamiji, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
You mentioned 2 types of samadhi. I did not write it down. Do you mind repeating it again, please?
Yeah, right. 2 types of samadhi. One is sampragyata samadhi, and the other is asampragyata samadhi. And I'll send that to you. This is what the commentators say. And what I mean, sampragyata samadhi means that, and we'll get into this later in the chapter, but what it basically means is that all the vrittis of the mind have subsided, except for that vritti, that sattvic vritti. It could be your Ishta Devata, it could be the Ramakrishna. Just one vritti remains in the mind. That's like so that's the vritti to which the mind has not completely stopped, one vritti is there, the pure translucent sattva vritti. Through that vritti, we get a glimpse into our own nature of Purusha or Atman. We don't realize it, but we get a glimpse of it, if that makes sense. It's like a lantern. Remember the old lanterns? The lantern inside, you could see the light, but there's some covering out, some translucent covering outside. That is what you call sampragyata samadhi. Now, asampragyata samadhi, yoga chitta vritti nirodhaha, all the minds stop. All the fluctuations of the mind stop. And at that stage, what happens? Ramakrishna said that if one stays in that state for 21 days, then their body will dissolve. So when all the fluctuations of the mind stop, nothing is arising, then it's just the subject, no longer the object. At that point, one realizes oneself as Purusha, and Prakriti is something separate from myself. Is that clear? So one is there's still a slight vritti there. The vritti of our Ishta Devata, you can say. And the second one, there's nothing arising. This
Thank
is a
you.
yeah.
So before you log out, we're not gonna be able to do that other meeting and keep these people on
No,
at the
because
same
Oh,
time.
Okay.
So they will need to go in on their own. I
Can-
can send them, email them a link if they wanna,
Okay,
if
so,
they wanna send me their email.
oh, we can't show through here?
We can show it, no, not
Okay,
with all.
okay,
them.
so I have an announcement. So can everybody just raise, did you all get the link for Swami Harinamananda's meeting right now?
It's in the WhatsApp group.
It's in the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Okay,
I know that.
okay, then I'm just gonna request,
That's my problem.
if those of you who are interested, so the meeting is now gonna start for, it's gonna be it's actually a discussion group. How can we effectively serve the elderly? And so I highly recommend everybody join, because everyone has a mom, dad, or we're old ourselves, or whatever it may be. So I think it'll be something really educational. And we're gonna we're gonna resend the link to everybody right now, so those who are interested can watch as well.
It's in the announcements, Vedanta Center announcements.
Okay, it's in the Vedanta Center announcements, and there's a link there as well. And some of you have if you don't get it, you can let me know, but I think everyone should be able to have it. Ritu maybe may not have it. I'll send Ritu it myself.
I saw it on the website as well. I just saw it on the web.
Okay, that's good.
The link.
Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, so I'm going to close with the chant now. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Okay, so please, I'll send the homework. So everyone try to, if you like to do it, I think it'll be a fun experiment. The 5 states of mind, and which I'll send today or tomorrow morning, and try to keep a journal or try to watch it, try to watch our states, and try to watch others. It's more fun to watch others than ourselves. We can watch ourselves afterwards. At least watch it in others. It's easier too. Okay. Thank you. Jai Ma, thank you.